Saddlebar Teen Sports listeners, I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m. You're listening to Teen Sports Radio. Saddlebar is home for youth inspiration, community stories, and heart-centered motivation. Every week, we bring you real conversations to uplift our teens, support our families, and remind us what it means to belong. So let's dive in. I'm really excited today. We're going to have a super great guest, longtime friend, Mike Motta. He'll start off the show. He'll be here shortly. Okay, but our co-hosts today are Don Sanders. How you doing, Don?
Just great. Hope you all are well.
Oh, we are well. This is Thanksgiving week. Don's massage. I'm going to be booking massages with him. I'm going to lay it all out. Now it's about Erica. That's it. I love myself. That was my gratitude. I did a gratitude to myself. Please, God. Remind me of me. Okay. Okay. A view from the deck. Christine Marie. How you doing, Christine?
I'm doing good. Yeah. That's a good idea to do. You know, giving from a full well is a blessing in itself, right? It's a great reason to be grateful, right? Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm about a quart low right now.
you have so much more to give, you know.
That's
you give
it.
From a full
I hear you. I hear you. You got your cards.
I do.
Got Mike. You're going to be pulling a nice little spread for Mike. I think he deserves 3 cards. I think.
Okay.
Past, present, and future. Well, because it's a big one. Okay. Yeah, it's got a big story to share. Dominique Hackett is with us. How you doing, Dee?
Good.
Yeah.
Can I give a quick shout out?
Okay, let me finish because we can't forget Alex. Alex, come on, Alex. Fit for life. 805. How you doing, Alex?
Doing great. Good morning. How are you?
Ooh, I know you got a big Thanksgiving family week planned, one of your favorite holidays of the year. I know that because I know you a long, long time.
It is. I am grateful for this time of year. My family's coming. My mom, my sister are going to stay with me for a week. I'm super excited.
Yeah, this is it. Okay, let's shut it. Let's go. Let's do it. Gratitude.
A quick gratitude. Yeah. Okay. We have a shop right around the corner from us, and I don't think about it often enough. Play It Again Sports. So it is a shop that has renewed, recycled, ready to go sports equipment. And I want to just encourage our teens and our local community, please, instead of spending your Black Friday at Best Buy or, I don't know, some big box store, go into Play It Again Sports and pick yourself up something fun that the family can do or supporting your teens in their sports.
Nice.
Absolutely.
I love it.
They are the corner of Turnpike and Hollister. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, Dominique, I have several pieces of valued home sports equipment from Play It Again Sports.
Yay. Yep. I think every catcher's glove I got from Play It Again. You want it broken in. Catcher's gear is, you want it used.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want something brand new. I mean, because then I got to put the tires on. I got to run over it 15 times. I got to do all those kinds of things. You know what I mean? Oh, my God. So, Christine, what do you want to give love to?
I want to give love to Mesa Produce. I do, I love something's good organic, and when they bring me my thing, but every once in a while I want something in particular. And I'll tell you, I went and got some fresh arugula, and I couldn't believe the difference between getting it fresh at Something's Good Organic and buying it, in a sealed bag at another place. It was incredible. So, so if you don't get your produce delivered, try it. Mesa Produce, because they're pretty amazing, and they do a lot of local and organic, and they're a real community shop.
Sweet. I love it. I love it. Well, I want to do a last and final. Okay, this is kind of a stretch, but our internet and everything, I don't think we had an upgrade in probably like 15 years in this house.
Very old modem.
Yes, very old. I mean, it was making noise. It was great. You could see the wheel going around and around.
You were still using dial-up? Wow.
Yes. Impressive. Right. So anyway, and I don't, I just wasn't
paying for a landline.
I know. And I still had a landline. No, I was just, because I was part of my earthquake, mentality. So anyway, I walked in. I couldn't believe it. And you knew it when we did it, just like, because it was pouring rain. I'm like, oh, nobody's going to be there. But it was funny when we pulled up, the parking lot was packed, but there was one spot right in the front. So we parked. I felt so good about it. Only had to wait for like 5-6 minutes. And then we met the nicest guy. Oh my God. He is Cox Whisperer. Okay. All right. So Cox, that's the name of our,
COX, that's our
internet provider. So we went in and he was so nice. I ended up saving 30% on my bill. Okay. And expanded my speed and, updated all the technology to 2025. I was so excited.
And he made it super easy.
Oh, he made it so easy. I just couldn't believe it.
What was his name?
So Elijah.
Shout out to Elijah.
Elijah. He says, I'm always here. And I said, you know something? I loved him so much. I'm going to give him my phones. Good, moving on. Our phones.
We're considering you
a family phone service for all of us on one plan.
It's a commercial for Cox.
Yeah.
Backed up by Verizon. So
it's like whatever. But we'll wait till the, Black Friday big crash sale because, might as well keep, with things. So thank you, Elijah. It was awesome. And I'm excited. We're going to have a boom show. And there he is, Mike Motta. He's waving. But before we get to Mike, we're going to be reaching out to our local nonprofits and businesses that we've supported for the last 15 years. We love you. God bless you. And we'll be right back with Mike after these messages. We are back. And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m. We are back. Mike Motta, everybody put your hands, air hugs, air claps, everything. Woo-woo. I tell you, I got a call from you, about a week ago. And oh my God, you set my eyes were watering and I couldn't believe it. And you skirted a horrible medical setback. And I want you to talk about it. And first of all, let's introduce you here. We met about probably close to 15 years ago through baseball. And you basically filled 50 scholarships pretty much that I had to offer for at-risk kids. Yeah. So I couldn't really get the resources and the access to the information here in the Santa Barbara County. So through a friend of Dominique's, I got your name and number, called you, and I kid you not, you filled the whole thing. And I'm so and ever since then, and this is the Attitude for Gratitude camp, where 7th and 8th graders got exposed to being with Division I baseball players, got to spend the day with them at a camp, got to go classrooms, got to work out with them, and got to get that seeing it is believing that, they could be that one day at a Division I Cal State Northridge. So thank you for that. And we've been friends ever since. So talk to me. What happened to you?
I got sick. My liver, I basically got sick very bad. My liver started breaking down. My body started rejecting everything for me. And I had my parents couldn't move from there. They were taking care of me to a point. They took me to the hospital and he was like, you can't walk no more, so we're taking you.
Wow.
Doctor says, I already know what's wrong with you because your liver popping out. Then a few minutes later, took test. You're lucky you came in today. We're being honest. He's you wouldn't survive another 2 days.
Wow.
God. Man.
That's taking it to the line.
Yeah.
So here's encouraging teens. You have an issue. You need to go get checked out.
Yeah, don't be hard-headed. Don't be hard-headed and say it's going to go away.
Right. Well, let's put it like this. You're an athlete. Okay. You got drafted out of high school. You've set up all these teams in the Fillmore area, looking out for kids, at-risk kids. These are the kids that don't have the money for school lunches. And this has been your life's work. Yeah. It's not your day job. You had another job, but it wasn't your day job. But this is just really what you've done. You've absolutely a community hero in my eyes. So let's just get to the core because we've talked about this endlessly. Tell us why this happened.
Energy drinks. I used to drink them.
Say it again, Mike.
I used to drink energy drinks, Gatorade, like no other.
Okay.
And they used to always tell me, it's go get to you. It's go get to you. But my hard head, I'm fine. It should be fine. It's not I'm good right now. But the later you get down the road, it's going to affect you pretty bad.
So can I ask you, were you just drinking either energy drinks or some kind of a Gatorade? Were you only doing that and like no water?
I was doing a little bit of water, but it was a lot of Gatorades, Powerades, energy drinks. Because I was doing, with the delivery, I was doing the needed it. I used to just drink for the taste after a while.
Yep.
I was doing delivery, I was delivering packages, and I used to go to baseball. Then I used to do the practices. So 8 o'clock at night, 7:30, I used to just drink energy because I was thirsty.
Right.
And the crave gets to you. It's a mind thing.
Yeah. And your taste buds go for it.
Yeah, I mean,
well, it's got those addictive chemicals in it.
Well, yeah, I mean, those things use a lot of sugar. Sugar is very addictive.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, sugar addiction in the end. Yeah, it's the craving for sugar. And if you're not filtering water in there or adding water, and then you're not eating enough, then it just will perpetuate the cravings for sugar.
And Mike, how big? Mike, you're a big dude. How tall are you?
6'5".
Yeah,
he's a stud, man. I mean,
he was. So your body was so hungry and craving so much nourishment that you only found it with Powerade, and your body couldn't handle it. Or were you also drinking like Monsters and Red Bulls too?
I was just it's doing it's pure Monster or Red Bulls,
Yeah, okay.
And doctor says
he's only 37.
Because I was keeping a steady weight, and they're all, your steady weight's not cutting it. He's like, for 6'5", I was pushing 219. He's like, you're way underweight right now. You need to get some more meat.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I just want to say there are a lot of articles out there for teens to understand dehydration is a huge issue, a huge health issue. And you can't gauge how much you have hydrated by how thirsty you are. You really have to, especially as an athlete, you have to track your water. You have to track your electrolytes. Alex, what's a better source for electrolytes than Gatorade and Powerade?
Well, your fruit, are the best option, really. And I think if you're getting enough water, it's going to help you filter out whatever kind of, sugar or Powerade drink you're getting. But I would say berries are huge. Bananas are great. Sweet potatoes, magnesium. Yeah. And of course, protein. It always comes down to protein. Are you getting enough? And sometimes people don't. They overeat. They tend to be carb heavy, and protein is, secondary or third on their plate.
Agreeable. Because they told me I was eating one big heavy meal a day and letting it ride, and not drinking enough water. And they said your body's craving it, and that's why you're drinking it. You're drinking it, you feel good, and you want it. And it was, I'm going to say, it was hard to stop drinking Gatorade or something sweet.
Sure. Yeah. There's electrolyte formulas that don't use sugar, like LMNT is one I use that just, they have a variety called raw where they don't put any sweetener in. And then you're still getting the magnesium and the potassium and, the electrolytes that you need. Because I was about your size growing up doing 5 sports, and I had a heck of a time recovering from exertion, especially if the heat was high. It was really hard to get back to energetic.
Agreeable, yeah. Now what I drink, going back, sorry, what the gentleman said about the berries and everything. Doctor told me get some cold water, put a slice of berries, slice of banana, sweet potato. That changes sports, your sugar water.
Yes.
You'll enjoy that a lot better than what you buy at the stores.
Sure.
Yes.
And mix it with some kefir or some yogurt, and then you have good bacteria also in your gut, which will keep your stomach feeling better.
Yeah. And it has protein. So it's
well, tens of thousands of kids are going to benefit from this because you are a voice. Okay. And it's so important because, that's the thing with this is why I'm glad hopefully it makes changes, because kids that, that need assistance unfortunately, they're allowed to buy that crap. And I hope that, there's stuff going through Congress right now where they're not going to be able to purchase those drinks and everything when you're on, getting assistance, because we don't want to poison our kids. We don't want them to get them addicted to stuff.
Well,
we want them to buy fruits. Yeah, we want them to buy fruits and vegetables. There's no liability for the companies either.
Right. They're marketed as health drinks or as things that are going to help with your electrolytes and whatnot.
And your performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, you read behind the can very carefully. It says only 18 and over should be sold.
Mm. Wow.
So they do have to. They have to protect themselves.
Yeah, it says it right behind the can.
Yeah,
so listen, we want to give you. We got a couple of minutes left. We want to give you some. Christine's going to pull some cards for you. So we're going to do 3 cards. We got a couple of minutes. Christine, go, baby.
Okay. So Mike, just tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. Now, do you want me to pick the first card from the top, the bottom, or the middle?
Middle.
Okay. The top of the bottom or the bottom of the top?
Bottom.
Bottom of the top. Okay. So this is so the card that actually I'm going to put these here. The card we picked is the I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
It's the Prince of Pentacles, which is just about taking off. His chariot is being pulled by a bull that's about to just really take off. So it's really about travel and moving forward. So it would indicate to me that there's something really taking off for you right now. And might be that all of these health issues have been a part of what's been going on. Let me pick the second card, which is the past. Do you want me to pick it from the top, the bottom, or the middle?
Top.
The top. Okay. So that card is it's kind of a cool card because that's the High Priestess, which is about be still and know. It's about really going into a very still place. So sometimes illness really supports us in stopping. Right. And I know I was ill earlier this year and I had to stop. I called it, basically being taken out at the knees for myself. And I had to stop, slow down, and rethink everything. And so that stillness, that internal aspect really does help you to stop and to rethink. I would imagine, getting very ill and going to the hospital, like you had to stop. And if you hadn't, like you said, if you had waited more than, a day or two, you would have been really stopped, right? So, and then for the third card, do you want me to pick the top, the bottom, or the middle?
Bottom.
Bottom, okay. Interesting. So this card, it's the Four of Swords. It's kind of a weird, it looks kind of an odd, but it's really about a forced respite in order to become receptive. It's about really that there's still a stillness going on. So even though things are sort of taking off for you in a certain way, there's also going to be, especially in the mind and the mental realm, a sort of just staying, going slow and recent. There might be a part of you that wants to move forward, but there's like a, you're staying still in order to receive something, a forced respite in order to become receptive. So, does it do any of those track for you? Those cards?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got goosebumps. I love that. That's wonderful, and it sets us up for a mastery story with Ryan Quirk. I had to look at her. I went away and I came back because I got stuck into this whole
I know,
thing.
it's transforming.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
But listen, Mike, you're going to be coming back many, many, many times because you are our resident coach now. You just got promoted. Okay, so put that on your resume. All right, you're now.
Right, thank you.
Everybody raise your hand. Co-host.
Yay.
Mike Motta. He's going to be our coach. We got it. All right, we've got Ryan right up now, right after these messages. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back, Teen Sports Radio listeners. This is Ryan Quirk with another self-mastery story. And what I want to share with you today is one of my favorite quotes from arguably the greatest hockey player of all time, one Mr. Wayne Gretzky. And he said, "Failing to prepare is preparing to fail." I'll say that again. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Now, what does this mean? One of the most underlooked aspects of not only athletic performance, but performance in life, in our friendships, our relationships, whatever endeavor of life that we might be engaging with, is preparation. You know, if we go to see a Lakers game and we see LeBron James and he's out there and he's dunking at 40 years old and it's absolutely unbelievable, the numbers that he's putting up and the points that he's putting up, you know, we just see this spectacle and we think, wow, it's a miracle that this guy can do what he does. And while he is very gifted and genetically gifted in many ways, what we don't see is the entire week of early wake-ups, practices, meal preparations. It is said that LeBron James puts over $1 million into the health and functioning of his body per year. Now, that is a luxury that most of us do not have. I know I certainly don't have that luxury myself. However, I think we can still take something from that. That while seeing an athlete perform and seeing a hockey player score a goal or a soccer player or whatever sport that you play is wonderful and amazing, what we have to realize is how many repetitions it takes, how much goes into that one performance, that one amazing goal. You know, I think there was a stat that Steph Curry, who is arguably, I would say not arguably, the greatest shooter in NBA history, has scored the most three-pointers in NBA history, has shot 500 three-point shots per day, every day, if not more than that, for his entire career, which is now, I think, at about 17 years in the NBA, and it was longer before that. He started that in his college days and in high school. So we can really say about 20 years, he's shot 500 three-point shots a day for that duration of time. Now, I don't even want to do the math. I don't have a calculator on me. I'm not going to do the math. That's a lot of shots. To see him, you know, make maybe a couple dozen shots or a couple three-point shots in a given night, and we see these amazing shots that he makes, and we think, wow, that is just phenomenal how he can be guarded by players much larger than him and double-teamed and triple-teamed and still make these shots. But what we didn't see in that moment was 20 years of preparation leading up to that moment. And so this does not mean we have to be obsessive in our lives and, you know, be absolutely crazy with how we prepare for things. But if you're an athlete, it might be wise to ask yourself and check in with yourself, what is my preparation like? Not just in practice, but before my games. What type of meals am I eating before my games? How am I preparing my mind? You know, I remember in high school hockey, I would just kind of watch guys, you know, just kind of walk into the rink. Maybe they're a little late to practice. They're kind of joking with their friends. They're still talking about school. They throw on their gear and they get on the ice. And it takes them until about the midway point of practice to be fully warmed up and ready to go. My question is, you know, when I started to realize this, I always made sure I showed up to the rink early. I would stretch before, make sure all my equipment was handled, my skates were sharp, my sticks were taped, and everything was ready to go. And I made sure to get on the ice like 5 to 10 minutes early so that I was warmed up once the coach was out there. So that once the coach was out there and we were already in drills and everything like that, we were ready to go. And not to be egotistical here, but I started doing a lot better than the guys who were not preparing properly. They started to, you know, so I noticed a few of them maybe get a little jealous. Some of them were more so just curious, like, oh, what are you doing differently? And I told them that Wayne Gretzky quote, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So again, this doesn't mean we have to be obsessive. You know, we still want to make sure we enjoy our lives, go with the flow in our lives, of course. And it's also important to have a certain level of relaxation when it comes to playing your sport. Any athlete knows this, that if you're too rigid or too intense, you're not having fun out there. And having fun is the most important part. However, it is really important that even in small ways, we prepare. You know, for me, one of the small things that I started to do before every single game was I would chug a water bottle filled with electrolytes. And that little preparation it might have given me, a few minutes more endurance on someone on the other team, but those minutes count. If you ever watch Olympic sprinters and they're trying to beat these world record times, they're not being measured in minutes. They're not even being measured in seconds. They're being measured in milliseconds for how close they can get to that record, to how close they can get to beating the next guy. So this is just a little reminder to all those athletes out there, or, if you're just someone playing the game or the sport of life, that preparation is absolutely vital, important, and maybe just begin to gently reflect on the little ways that you can begin to prepare. I know for me, working the job that I work as a hockey coach and doing some other things here and there, a small preparation that I do is make sure I always pack a healthy lunch. I find that when I don't make that small preparation, I'm more tempted to eat unhealthy foods. Versus if I make that small preparation, I know that I'm on top of it. You don't want to ever be in a situation where you're on the ice or on the field or on the court and you're wondering, oh shoot, did I forget to make that preparation? Did I forget to make sure that, my jersey was washed? Did I forget to make sure that my skates were sharp, that my ankle was taped up before the game, or whatever it might be? Those little preparations count and they matter, and they're kind of more of the nitty-gritty stuff that fans don't really see and that we might not always remember in our biggest moments. I still remember from my high school hockey career, scoring a big playoff goal and all the fans in the stands were going crazy and my teammates were going crazy, and that was wonderful. But that wouldn't have happened had I not properly taped my stick, made sure my skates were sharpened, done my stretching, done my warm-up, made sure I was mentally and physically prepared and good to go. So again, you don't have to be forceful about this, but a gentle reflection as to how can I prepare more for the things in my life is something wise, something to reflect upon, and especially when it comes to an arena where we're trying to perform in, whether that's a sport, a certain endeavor, a creative project, even, other things, relationships too. How can I prepare my state of being, my mind, make sure that I'm calm and ready and open and receptive to show up for other people in my life, to be a good brother, sister, friend, family member, whatever it may be, parent, although I'm not a parent now, but I'm assuming that preparation is something that many parents are probably very familiar with. I remember my dad growing up. I'm one of 3 brothers, and he would get up at 5 a.m., even though he didn't have to leave to go to his job until 7 a.m., so that he could get a morning walk in, a little bit of time to himself, get his morning coffee in, and make all 3 of our healthy lunches because me and my 3 brothers were all athletes. That's preparation. Getting up a little bit earlier, making sure that those things were done and ready to go so that the rest of the day could flow smoothly into those bigger, quote-unquote, buzzer beater moments. So I hope this helps. I hope there's a interesting little reflection. I know it's been an interesting reflection for me, and understand that nobody's perfect, and I know for me and for myself that I'm certainly not perfect when it comes to preparation in my life, but it's something that we can begin to gently reflect upon, and in that reflection make steady small improvements in our lives. So thank you for listening. If you're interested in more of my work, you can find my work at rqselfmastery.com. That's my initials for Ryan Quirk, rqselfmastery.com. You can find my book, which contains much of this information that I share in these self-mastery segments, on Amazon under the title The Journey of Self-Mastery by Ryan Quirk. The Journey of Self-Mastery by Ryan Quirk. And I hope that whoever is listening has a wonderful day and can reflect on that quote and maybe share it with someone else, that failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So make sure that you prepare. Thank you.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio, everyone. This is Sky Ellsworth, and I'm a student at Life Chiropractic College West. And as always, I'm absolutely thrilled and honored to be here and be a part of this incredible show. And, I truly believe that this show is more than just a radio show, but it's a movement. Every single thing that everyone talks about each week, everyone that listens to it, regardless of whether you take what you hear and share it with someone else, just that little bit that inspires you. And I bet it's not just one little bit. I bet it's all of it. But even if you just take away that one little thing, that's all it takes to change one thing in the way that you view your life or someone else's life or how you interact with someone. It's all it takes is just that one thing. And then you go and impact someone else who impacts someone else, and we end up changing the world. So I just want to thank everyone for being a part of this, for listening to this, and for having me as a guest every week. So what I want to talk a little bit about today, and, I was just kind of tossing this around, but earlier I had a friend of mine share with me that he was at school and he had this instructor who works in the records room, and she ended up becoming a patient of his, and she's a chiropractor, so she was kind of micromanaging everything that he was doing. And, I sympathized because I've had experiences with this particular individual before. And she has this way of, no matter what you're doing, what your attitude is, she will immediately try and bring you down to her energy state, which is lower energy neutral. So, what I wanted to bring up was this idea of, in this day and age, you have a lot of these, I don't know what you call them, like woke sort of terms, even the idea of woke, or, whatever that even means. But, these terms like these ideas that, oh, this person is, they're draining my energy, or this person is too difficult to be around. I need to go do something else. I need to be someone else. I need to do something else. All of this. The thing to understand is that every single experience and interaction that you have is an exchange of energy. And what is determining how the other person shows up, as I've said in previous weeks, is you. You're the common denominator. You're what determines that. Your energy state determines how people show up around you. But I wanted to bring up this idea because sometimes we have these people in our lives that, you feel like they're an energy drain for you, and they're not. They're not an energy drain for you. You are just not resourced enough in your own energy state to where you can recognize that they're trying to pull you down to their energy state. It becomes a competition, right? If you have a higher energy state and you're more resourced, someone else will try and take those resources from you. It's just the way of life, right? If you're poor, you want what the rich person has. It's just the way it works. And the same is true with energy. Energy is like a currency. But the thing to understand is that, again, you're the common denominator. So you get to decide. If you can recognize in a moment that someone is trying to bring you down to their energy state because they want your resources, it's your choice whether you go down there and all of a sudden it becomes something that you get upset about, it becomes a conflict, whatever, or if you lift yourself up to a higher energy state. If you're external, throw your hands in the air. If you're an internal, put your hands on your heart. If you don't know what that means, please go back and listen to previous recordings of this show. I always talk about SoundCloud because I love SoundCloud, but I was reminded last week that Teen Sports Radio is everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, a couple other things, everywhere. So just a reminder, go to where your energy is and choose. Recognize when someone is at a different energy state than you and allow yourself to be above that and just see what shifts, see what happens. Okay, so that being said, how did I wrap up this story? Because it was kind of interesting. So I ended up having a conversation later on with this person because what I always wanted to say to them, and sometimes life or even creating a healing effect in someone or finding that right spot where someone is ready to receive hearing something. When you find out what that spot is, you can go in and deliver that perfect little line or statement, that thing that you say, or sometimes it's an action that you take that changes that person's life and who they are and how they view the world forever. And, I'm pretty direct. So, I've always imagined saying to this particular person, I've always imagined saying, well, what would happen if you looked at the positive first instead of the negative? Or what would happen if you looked at what's right first as opposed to what's wrong? And we've talked about that before when we talk about the concept of polarities. And again, polarities are also just another exchange of energy. It's just another way to view it. When you're in a lower energy state, all of a sudden it's either or instead of this and. So, recognizing that framework, that AAAing, becoming aware of something, acknowledging what it is, and then accepting what it is starts to become part of how we can be with where we are and then choose something better. And that's always what it needs to be, because otherwise we'll achieve a temporary higher energy state and then we'll collapse. We have to have that AAA piece, that foundation, so that when we increase to higher levels of energy states, there's a foundation underneath us so that we don't just come crashing down. We don't go all the way up and then all of a sudden we're back in this energetic of discover. So I said to this woman, I said exactly that. I said, I'm trying to remember exactly what the argument, it wasn't an argument, but I was talking with her and she was asking me about my paperwork, and she asked me for a detail that was absolutely unnecessary unless she wanted me to go through an extra process. And it would have been such a pain. And every other person just, overlooks it. And she could feel me coming in with a higher cheerful energy state. I was asking her about, her life and, really, caring about who she is. And she latched on to that and tried to pull me down to her energy state. So I said to her, wouldn't it be magical if you looked for what's right before you looked for what's wrong, or even instead of? And then I smiled and I walked away. And I wasn't attached to an outcome, right? I wasn't thinking about, is this going to create a change? Am I going to change the outcome of something? I wasn't hungering for things to be different. I didn't care. I was detached because I was strong enough in my energy state. I knew I didn't need her to be at a different energy state than me. But long story short, I saw her maybe about a week later, and she was a totally different person. She'd completely shifted. I didn't mention anything before. She didn't mention anything from that exchange, but she was a totally different person. Was it the thing that I said that made the difference? Or was it something else that I didn't even know about? I don't know. But the point is that there was a shift. There was a change. And sometimes when we're in a really high energy state, we just know what to say and when. There's an energetic field that we talk about that's around us, and that field is constantly giving us information. And it's up to us to decide, do we have enough energy to trust that the information that you're receiving from the field is true? Do you ever get those intuitive thoughts or random feelings and, you think it's ridiculous, so you just kind of dismiss it, right? Because your brain is acting as a filter. Well, the field speaks first. So if you can actually listen to what that field is saying, you can actually download that information, hear it, and then just say it. And trust that that's the right thing in that moment. So the exercise that I encourage all of you to do when you're having an interaction with someone, when you're dealing with a situation, whether it's a high energy situation or a situation where you're just like, oh God, this is awful. But just to become aware of that field around you and the people around you and what happens when you consciously go to where your energy is, way out there if you're an external, or way inside if you're an internal. Find out where that reserve of energy is for you. Go there, be there, and see what comes out. And just trust it and just say it. Just allow your voice to be heard, and then walk away and see what happens. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm looking forward to seeing you or talking at you all next week. All right, take care.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
For Teen Sports Radio, I'm Don Sanders, donsmassageohio.com, 805-236-2684, here to bring you a hygge, a Scandinavian term for a comfy, cozy feeling akin to getting a hug without actually receiving a physical hug. And I have more than I can mention some things I don't have time to unpack. First one is history echoes if it doesn't flat out repeat. So young people, the macro, there's things happening, and in your life, the micro. In the macro, they say, history echoes if it doesn't repeat. And so in the 20s, we had what they called a Gilded Age, and what they called the robber barons having big lavish parties while nearby people were sleeping in mud flats under cardboard boxes. And similarly, we are having a time where there was a big lavish party thrown down in Florida while many people were being denied their benefits because to have groceries and such because of their because of a government shutdown. And so on the micro level, that's the macro level. On your micro level, we all had challenges in our development. I was a latchkey kid, had to figure out a lot of things for myself, missed incorporating a lot of social cues. And so there's those kind of challenges. There's social challenges when you go to school. And I think the really important thing is that it was mentioned today, taking some time for yourself, and you've got to find the things you really enjoy. And there's a great song, please look up on YouTube, called The Greatest Love of All, that starts out, I believe the children are our future.
Yay, Whitney.
Yeah. And so listen to that one. And I want to leave you with, the idea of falling in love with your life. I found a really nice little piece that encapsulates what I want to say on Substack, the Self-Publishing Act. It says, fall in love with your life. Wake up early. Buy your favorite coffee. Go for walks. Eat good food. Wear what makes you feel confident and listen to your favorite music. Purposefully create these small moments that make you fall in love with your life. So I want to leave you with that I hope that in the midst of all the chaos and confusion of growing up and figuring out your direction, you will also fall in love with your life.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
Thank you, Dawn.
That's powerful.
That's very powerful. That is amazing.
The greatest love of all.
Yes, definitely. All right, that'll wrap us up here. Thank you, everybody, for being part of our Teen Sports Radio family. Truly, have a wonderful Thanksgiving week. To all our teens, just be good and do good. God bless you. Thank you, KZSB AM 1290 and 96.9 FM, Eternity Ready Radio, for anchoring us in the Midwest. And hey, let's go, Santa Barbara. See you next week.